Hello indie game fans, I've personally seen somewhat of a dip in the roguelite market since we're not getting that many upcoming games in the space, since I believe a number of you did get roguelite fatigue as well, but if enough time has passed and you're clamoring for more, here are 10 more upcoming indie games to look forward to. Let's begin with Otherworld Legends, a pixel art action roguelite that self-describes as a roguelite brawler, looking to have decent action and does come to us from a Chinese developer. This title is new to me, but upon digging a little deeper, I found that it is actually on mobile, which also explains the UI, which is not great, but hopefully they will manage to adapt it for PC while removing in-app purchases, and is releasing on Steam very soon. The developer of Helms of Fury did reach out to me when their Kickstarter campaign launched last year, which, thankfully, was successful. This looks like a well-made but generic fantasy entry where you play as knights beating up goblins, slimes and elementals. However, there are 3 playable characters and even 2-player co-op support, looking like fun with a friend, where I don't mind this so much since it does look polished and I hope will turn out well. If you're a fan of indie games, one look at Trigon Space Story, and I'm sure that you will instantly know what this is inspired by, since, yes, it does very much look like a remake of FTL Faster Than Light with fancy 3D graphics, but I do have to note that this is not from Subset Games, but rather a team that has to be inspired by their work. This has you captaining a ship as you travel through a procedurally generated galaxy, taking part in tactical ship combat with a limited number of crew on board. What this means is that you need to prioritize which stations to man, whether it be weapons, shields, engines and so on, and might even have to fend off hostile invaders and put out fires amid the chaos. As unbelievable as it may seem, FTL will be 10 years old this September, with Trigon looking to be a faithful tribute that I hope has fresh new ideas of its own to take this to greater heights. In addition to the top-down action variants, the roguelite platformer has been a very popular subgenre as well, since it combines the very familiar side-scrolling action with the procedural generation hook, where a fantastic-looking entry is Machina Blade. Interestingly, there's no fancy edited trailer just yet, simply some gameplay footage, but it does show the fluidity of the action and animations, which look fantastic. Apparently, this will support co-op for up to 4 players with a variety of characters, 2 of which are shown here, and with inspiration from Dead Cells, Risk of Rain and Devil May Cry, looks like a promising entry, although I am waiting for more details. A smaller all-action title that looks fantastic and needs more attention is Elsie, a roguelite platformer that has you getting a bunch of drones to follow you around and blast away at enemies. As such, it does look visually impressive to the point of possibly becoming overwhelming and difficult to read, which I suspect is why some people don't like the look of this game, but for now, I do think that it's one to keep an eye on. From the UI elements and the massive number of relics or upgrades stacking in the top right, it does look to have fantastic synergies like Risk of Rain, so fingers crossed this turns out great. I like roguelites which have interesting settings and themes, where Cursed to Golf fulfills this criteria with a great narrated trailer, so enjoy.
In Cursed to Golf, take on the role of a recently deceased golf champion who, after a freak accident, finds themselves trapped in golf purgatory. In an ironic twist of fate, they must golf their way through 18 dungeon-like holes to ascend. Taking place across 4 beautiful but deadly biomes, hit satisfying golf shots to survive the onslaught of golfing hazards in this exciting new golf-like adventure that will test any unprepared Sunday driver.
Have I told you about the Ace cards?
Ace cards are powerful ball-manipulating power-ups that will be vital to any golfer's success in ascending. Find them in Eternity, a chain of golf stores occupied by one of 3 legendary caddies. They will teach you everything they know about the mysteries of golf purgatory. Pass their trials, gain their skill, and get one step closer to ascending. And when you do, maybe you can help them with their fates in return.
Like you're reliving the same dream over and over.
Oh, heavens! A real customer!
I gave my very life for this town.
I've mentioned Midautumn when it had its Kickstarter campaign, where this action roguelite has an interesting art direction and is billing itself as Hades but with Asian instead of Greek gods. It might be a little reductive to compare it in that way, but I do see many similar elements, so it does have quite the high bar to live up to.
Being able to accept your defeat makes you better than most warriors I've met.
Let's kick off the top 3 with Void Soul Awakening, a third-person action roguelite shoot 'em up, which is very different from what we are used to. There are but a handful of 3D roguelites like Risk of Rain 2, so this is not something that you see every day, where the action looks fast and frantic as you're dashing around avoiding enemy projectiles while firing back at the same time, adding a degree of freshness to the space.
Okay, let's see what we're looking at here. Pull up your tactical map.
I've been aware of Gunhead for the longest time, since this cel-shaded first-person shooter looks fantastic, where you control a mech with a gun for a head, looting derelict spaceships for profit, while battling the deadly drones and robots within. This is from developer Alien Trap, who has made games like Cryptarch and Apotheon, most recently releasing Witchwood in December 2021, which I think means that development has shifted full-time onto this game, with an updated release window of 2022, so let's see if it makes it out this year. A weirdly disturbing entry is AK-xolotl, a top-down action roguelite where you play as such a creature, wielding your AK and going on a rampage, having to hunt down and shoot their next meal. It does have very clean, effective pixel art and good action, looking to me like a combination of Enter the Gungeon, Nuclear Throne and Blazing Beaks, which is not a bad place to be. There's also a hub area to upgrade and even a cooking system from the various ingredients gathered, so the progression systems do look to be compelling, looking like a fantastic package overall, taking the #1 spot. For more roguelite titles, watch these videos and I will see you after the jump.